This week on West of Knowhere, we discuss cutting back on drinking, oppositional defiant disorder, military budgeting, the election, a pregnant teen dying in Texas after being turned away from 3 ER visits, a Florida bail bondsman who uses his job to pimp and traffic women, the Zodiac Killer, the dating game killer, and the Anna Kendrick movie that is about the dating game killer, and are you the asshole for telling your mom she's an unwanted guest in this week's Am I the Asshole? We'd also like to thank these wonderful subscribers: Pantera Girl, Colton Zamersla, Andre Savias the God, Kevin Garahan, Chantel and Mark Stadler, Colby Jordan, Kylie Gangwish, and Reverend Professor Rusty J. Lugnetz III, Esquire. I can't think of any other names to add to his name. But thank you to those guys, and away we
I ain't
go.
scared of you motherfuckers. I'm on it.
Hey, freak show! You're going nowhere!
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
Welcome back, kids and coaches, to another episode of West of Knowhere. I am Levi.
And I'm Levi.
Whoa. Two Levi's don't make it right.
We're all Levi.
We're,
One world Levi. One nation to rule them all. Oh,
we're all Levi down here. Wait.
we're all Levi. You'll float too.
Yeah, that's right. God, that would be terrible. Have you ever watched the movie Being John Malkovich, though?
I mean, I've watched it, but I really don't remember a lot of it. I
It's
need to rewatch it.
so good. Yeah, but essentially, if you haven't seen the movie, it's John Cusack finds a tunnel that leads into John Malkovich's brain, which, like you often do.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where John Malkovich finds the tunnel and goes into his own brain, which is fucking a room full of people that are all shapes and sizes, but they all have his head and they all talk like him. And so there's like this like lounge singer in like a sexy red dress, but she's got John Malkovich's head, and they're all saying Malkovich. It's great.
Yeah.
That's everybody's homework for this week, is to go watch that movie because it's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I was going from like The Walking Dead, like I'm Negan, you're Negan, we're Negan.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. I don't know if I could pull that off. If we're being honest, I don't think I
think
could.
you would look. I think you would look great in a fucking leather jacket.
Well, I know I do, but that's not that's not what I'm saying. It's what I don't think I could be that guy, in the end of days. I think I'd be either too busy making jokes or
I think, you know what? I think you're a hugger. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
I don't think you could any mini mo like smash someone's fucking head in. You know what I mean?
I feel like I could, but it would have to be a specific type of person. You know what I mean? Like there's some people every now and then that I've met that I'm like,
yeah, I know the old and the young. I understand.
The old specifically, the young, they just annoy me. But now, because I'm an old man now. But becoming the one thing I swore to destroy. Anyway, you're probably, if you listen to this show a lot, you're probably sitting there going, what in tarnation happened to you guys? Number one. Number two, where's the fucking video from like 6 years ago or whenever we last recorded? The computer gods have not been nice to me. And it is what it is. So, not making excuses. That's what happened. I lost pretty much all of my podcasting folders. So, there's a couple random things that I've been able to piece together from other things. So, we'll have a video this time. But And I also was like dying of space AIDS. So there was that, but it is what it is. Still not fully recovered. I still got it. You can kind of hear it a little bit. I still got a little.
Yeah, you can.
Little something. It happens real bad when I laugh. I got like a wheezy laugh, Lil Wayne style. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's exactly where mine went.
So anyway, what's new with you?
What's new with me?
Yeah.
Nothing, man. Like I have been super boring.
Yeah.
I don't think I've talked about it on the show at all, but I've recently, in the past couple months, started collecting Pokemon cards.
Oh yeah.
And that's pretty much it, dude. Like Call of Duty and Pokemon cards, hanging out with Natalie, hanging out with Emmett.
Yeah.
Rinse and repeat.
Nice. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Guys gotta have a rhythm, you know.
Oh, not that I'm like quitting drinking, but I just haven't drank since like the 19th of last month.
No, we get it. You're a quitter. It's fine.
It was getting out of hand, really, man. Like it was like every 2 days. Fuck it, yeah. It was about every 2 days I was drinking a handle of whiskey.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And it wasn't. And people go, "Oh, 2 days," but realistically, what I was doing was I was coming home from work, and then I would get on the game for like 2 or 3 hours, and then I would start drinking the second I got off the game.
Yeah.
And drink, and then like drink until I went to bed around 11. So about 3.5 hours.
Right.
So if you take that across 2 days, I was drinking a handle of whiskey in 7 hours.
So it's all right numbers.
And I don't know. I was just like, I should probably stop.
Yeah, that's
So
fair.
I'm not like quitting forever. I'm just kind of like
Dialing her back.
I mean, yeah, I just haven't and the only reason why I drank on the 19th was it was Natalie's sister's wedding, and I was just like, you know what, I'll tie one on, and I did, but I've been fine. Like I thought I was gonna have a hard time. I thought I was gonna I really thought that I was gonna be like, oh fuck, dude, I should probably drink, but I haven't really had an issue.
Yeah.
Which was surprising because
that
just means
good.
Go ahead.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Well, I was worried. I was worried that I was gonna stop and then be like, fuck, I have to drink. Like I need to.
Yeah.
But I haven't had any kind of feeling to do that, so I don't really understand what the issue is then, like why I was doing it if I wasn't addicted.
Yeah. I mean, it's a fun activity to do. You don't have to be addicted to fun things, you know. It's just or things that you feel like you enjoy, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not addicted to swimming in a pool, but I do love the fuck out of it, you know. It's
I get that, but I don't know. If someone comes up to you and they go, hey man, I drink a handle every 2 days. Your first thought is, oh, that guy's an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And that's what I was worried. I was like, fuck, dude, I'm gonna go to stop and then I'm gonna have withdrawals, and I haven't literally no issues.
Yeah. I think I can't remember who. I was watching some sort of interview, and they were talking about. I think it might have been some rock star or something, but
yeah,
they were talking about alcoholism, and they were like, well, you know, there's a couple parts of being an alcoholic, and being an alcoholic, people think, oh, it's somebody who, you know, can't not drink, like they're always drinking and they find an excuse to drink, but the alcoholism really takes place when you try to stop, because if you can't stop, then that's it. You know, if you don't have a problem not drinking, and you know, there's people who, you know, have more medical degrees than I do, who would say, no, you're still alcoholic if you drink, you know.
Yeah.
3 drinks a day or whatever the fuck the thing is. But that conversation made me it was like, oh, okay, you know, there is different parts or aspects to it, different ways to look at it, because if you know you don't have an issue, well, then that means you can cut back whenever. Like that's the thing. Like you're just being reckless otherwise, right?
Yeah.
Like you just don't make good decisions. You know, you're not an alcoholic. You just don't spend your time wisely or whatever. Like you know, you're an alcoholic if you literally can't not do that, you know. So
I think my biggest issue is, and I've obviously never been diagnosed, and I didn't even know it was a thing until I talked to Natalie, because she had talked about it before. And the first time she ever brought it up was called ODD, opposition defiance disorder. I didn't know it was a thing, but I think I might have it.
Yeah.
Because like I'm super inclined to do things that make sense as long as I'm not being told to do it.
Oh yeah, no, I get that.
The second I'm being told to do it, I'm like, nope, not gonna do it. And I just like it's just like a switch that snaps in my brain. Oh, you're telling me to do this?
Yeah.
Nah, not happening.
Yeah. That's like that's like a big, not symptomatic. I don't know. It's a lot of people who have like ADHD have that issue.
Oh.
I'm not diagnosing you. I'm just
right.
telling you from my own personal experience and like things that I've been told is like, you know, and like friends corroborating this kind of general feeling like, well, I was going to do the thing that you wanted me to do, but because you just told me to do it, now I don't want to do it. Or if you told me not to do it, now I kind of want to do it. You know what I mean? So like the no paint, like, oh, this wet paint, don't touch. I'm like, kind of got to touch it just to see.
Yeah.
How
wet is it really?
Every time. It goes back to when I was a kid. My mom's like, hey, don't touch that stove. It's hot. And I'm like, it's fucking, yeah, I want to see how hot it is.
Yeah, let's see.
Turns out it was really hot. She was right. But yeah, so interesting. I'm glad you're, you know, figuring stuff out in that way. I don't know how you're going to use that to moving forward. Like, what are you going to do to combat that? If you know it's happening, are you going to like think about it or what?
I really don't know. Like, I think because I had stopped going to therapy, but I think I should go back just for that, because I honestly don't know how to do it. Like, it happened again today. I realized we were driving and Natalie just goes, she's like, why do you like get so upset about wearing your seatbelt? Because like when we're driving, Emmett will be like, hey Dad, you know, we're going fast, put your seatbelt on. And I'm like, you worry about yourself, I'll worry about you, and we'll just leave it at that. But then I was driving, and like, she asked me that question, you know, in a very innocent way, and I was just like, fuck, man, it's the same thing again.
Yeah.
Because the reason why I was so dead set on drinking all the time is because multiple people throughout my life have been like, you need to quit drinking, you drink too much. And I'm like, well, fuck you, I'll show you.
Yeah.
I drank too much. And then it has slowly, because I have built a tolerance, gotten kind of too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't realize that I've done it until I've already done it.
Right.
And most of the time when I realize that I've already done it, it's because I'm in an argument with somebody. And it's like, well, now I can't back down because I've already argued myself into this fucking predicament.
Right. And also, like, if you're in an argument with somebody, the last thing you want to do is, like, let them have a win, you know? Like, you're like, no, I can't give you this. This is...
Oh, dude. I am the worst about that, dude. Like,
yeah.
Even if I realize in the argument that I am wrong, I'm not stopping. Like they'll say, it's happened multiple times to me. I'll be in an argument, someone will say something, and I'll be like, fuck, that makes sense. Nope. No.
You know what? Fuck you anyway, because... yeah, we're real healthy. It's pretty cool stuff. Anyway, you wanna talk about you all day, or you wanna talk about some stuff?
Let's talk about some stuff, dude. Let's go.
All right. God, well, this is a great place to start, actually. The United States military, they pay a lot of money for things that they don't need to pay for, right? They spend way too much money on things that shouldn't cost that much. You know this. I know this. But what a watchdog assigned to basically look through budgeting of the United States military by the Department of Defense, who probably overpaid these watchdogs, found that the Air Force paid 8,000% higher prices for soap dispensers for their C-17 aircraft, which is crazy.
That's an insane number.
Yeah, 800% increase, like a markup.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is just a soap dispenser. I have a picture of it. Hold on.
That's worth it. It's worth it.
Which is crazy. I mean, I would pay maybe $5 for that thing, but and I wanted to bring this up just because it's like there's so many things that are like that in the military that really don't need to be. I mean,
yeah.
There's fasteners that are like $25 a pop, and it's like,
Yep.
it's literally just metal. There's no reason. It doesn't have any kind of protective coating or anything on it. And if it does, we're the ones that put it on with chemicals that we probably overpaid for, and it's wild how, and I think it also is like very symptomatic of the way our economy is set up, because like the defense contractors or whoever is like budgeting these things, well, whoever runs that company probably has a friend that works over in that company, and they're like, hey, we'll fucking buy your screws for $25 a piece. They're literally $1 a piece, but okay, whatever it may be. And shit like that just goes around in circles, and it's...
Well, I think it has to do with the fact that the military, and I could have swore that I heard about this, like even before I joined, that the military is not allowed to buy things not made in America.
Oh.
And if that's the case, then all the contractors, they have those companies have a monopoly. They can just set the price on whatever.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, all they have to do is just be just slightly cheaper than someone else selling it.
Yeah.
And then they get the contract for those fasteners, those washers, those soap dispensers. Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty cool. And why is their defense budget so high? Well, I gotta tell you, it's not because we have like teleporting airplanes. It's because we pay crazy prices for menial things, and then
Yeah.
I mean, that's definitely not helping, but it is just kind of funny. That story, I saw that and I was like, yep, this is a good one.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's bring it down. Let's bring it down a notch. I am excited because it's a wonderful time of year. Totally normal things going to be happening this week, and everybody's going to act totally normal about it. Everybody's going to go fill out a ballot.
Oh yeah.
And nobody's going to get weird. I can almost guarantee that, probably. So
Yeah. No one's gonna accuse anyone of using dead people that have voted.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen. Yeah.
Except for, it's already people are already out of control. What's even funnier than just how people are behaving are the fact that like the people who are like worried about things like this are 10 years ago. If you would have asked them about voting, they would have been like, doesn't matter, dude. Doesn't fucking matter what. Who cares? They don't give you a choice. And it's like, now, well, there's too many people voting and they're not doing it fairly. So now I gotta get my grandma to go vote. And she's been dead for 30 years, but that doesn't matter, And anyway, voter fraud is not the issue I want to talk about. What I wanted to talk about is that, we talked about the overturning of Roe v. Wade.
Yeah.
And we had the wonderful Chantel Stadler on here to help us talk about that. And found a story that relates to something that we talked about in that episode, actually, where care is being refused to people who need it, and it has gone to certain extents where now people are dying after not being able to seek care. So a pregnant teen in Texas visited 3 different ERs and was refused 3 different times and ended up dying. So, yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. So, Navia Crane was her name, 18. She had gone to 2 different emergency rooms within 12 hours of each other. And then they said, you have a strep throat. And then they were like, she's like, I actually have, like some stomach, a lot of abdomen pain. And they continued to basically skirt around anything related to fetal issues. And yeah, she ended up dying, which is crazy. So, not great. And I feel like a lot of this story is, just one, but this is not going to just happen this one time, and obviously it's highlighted because of the tensions about this subject right now, right? But pretty crazy that we're at this point where it's like you can't even treat somebody because the doctors are either scared that they're gonna get fucking thrown in jail, or whatever maybe, and then this is ultimately leading to the death of not only the woman but also the unborn child, which I don't know if you know that, but that's the whole point that these people are trying to prevent with banning abortions. And looks like it fucking didn't work. So anyway, kind of their fault if you think about it, but they're not going to think of it that way. But it is, I don't know, it's just so frustrating, like, to see stuff like this happen, because it's so it was probably super treatable, it's like super preventable in cases like these, for the most part. And I have a lot of friends who are moms, or just women in general, that are very very heated about this election, and they're gonna be fucking voting their asses off. So anyway, so there's that story. It's not gonna get any better because I have another sad story. Ready?
I don't.
What?
You're the worst, man. Like,
yeah. Well,
you saved them all. I see what happened. You were like, last week, you were like, you know what? I feel a little under the weather, right? But also, I want to save up all these stories that just make you upset.
Yeah.
Well, I know.
You got to. In Florida, obviously, in Florida, a bail bondsman has been, I guess, is it charged? Well, it doesn't look like it's maybe charged. They're investigating this guy over allegations that he is a bail bondsman.
Okay.
And he would offer female inmates bond in exchange.
Don't say it.
Yep. So that's not even the worst part of the story.
Okay.
He would basically pimp these girls out for their bonds. Yeah. So not just for him, but for somebody else too. He would pay their bond.
I mean, it's a sound business plan if you think about it. He pays to have sex with them, and then he has them work off the money. Sound business plan.
Here's the thing, though. Prostitution is illegal in Florida. And even if it wasn't, this is
Yeah.
still not that. This is you're basically this is like a human trafficking thing almost.
Oh yeah,
you know?
100%. Yeah, yeah.
Like it would be different if the women were like, I'm going to start an OnlyFans and pay for my bail, or if like prostitution was legal and they worked at a cat house and then were able to pay their bonds that way because they're
Yeah.
like, I want, like, this is of my own free will, but this guy's
Right,
like,
right.
you can sit in jail, or
Or you
Me
can
and-
sleep with me and my buddies.
me and the boys.
That is wild.
Yeah. So,
It's crazy that stuff like that still happens.
yeah.
Please tell me how he got caught.
I think he was. I think he was just finally people like reported or whatever, because he's so like the victims, you
Yeah.
know, turned him in essentially.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
But he's got like in his threats or in his things, he's got threats of revoking, pulling, or violating their bonds as a form of force or coercion
God.
to, get them to do things.
Oh man.
And then he would, like I said, like sex traffic them to other people.
Yeah.
So, of all of the things he's being investigated for, it could potentially, he could potentially go to jail for 125 years. So,
Well, he deserves every second. That's
Yeah.
fucking crazy.
yeah, pretty wild. So, I don't know, but yeah, people like that, they just don't deserve anything good to happen to them. But the problem is,
Yeah.
fucking good shit happens to those people. Like they get away with it, or they get like sentences. They so whatever happens, it's fucking weird the way that works
Yeah.
out. I've been listening to a lot of like Time Suck at Work lately, so like some of these guys that he talks about in the true crime episodes, how they end up like skirting around getting caught. Like I just listened to the Cleveland kidnappings, the 3 girls who were held in the home by Ariel Castro in Cleveland for like 10 years, and how he was just able to get away with it for such a long time. And it's like,
Yeah.
cops came to his house, knocked on the door, nobody answered. Nobody, and they're like, all right, guess we fucking tried, so see ya. And yeah.
That's like I just watched the new 3-part documentary on the Zodiac on Netflix.
Oh yeah, I started it. I haven't finished it, but I started it.
So after the murder of the cab driver that he killed,
Yeah.
he was fucking walking away.
Oh,
and
yeah.
The cops fucking stopped him and were like, "Hey, did you see anybody shooting?" Like, you don't take down that guy's information.
Just grab that guy. Like,
Yeah, what the fuck?
yeah. The Zodiac is such an interesting case
really is.
because like it's obviously interesting because of the mystery around it, but it's also there's so many aspects of like law enforcement that because it happened back then is
Yeah.
why he kind of got away with it for so long, because there was so much like jurisdictional issues and like, well, the city police wanted to catch him, but the state police wanted to catch him, and so they wouldn't tell each other information
Yeah.
because they wanted to keep their own information to themselves and shit.
Yep.
And had it happened in like the 80s, the FBI would have been brought in and maybe it would have been easier. But it's in fucking 60s and it's just so like such a weird spot. Yeah, that story is just so fascinating. And then like, I don't know, I listened to, I think the podcast was just called Monster, and they did like a whole season about the Zodiac and went through all the
Okay.
different avenues and stuff. And that documentary talks about Arthur Lee Allen, which is somebody who everybody was kind of like on board with not actually being the Zodiac for
Yeah.
a couple of reasons, but like to see him get pulled back into Lethal is kind of wild, because there were like some things that did line up, but then there was also some things that people were like kind of forcing to line up to fit him. But
so in the documentary, there's this one family that he is like pretty much entwined with for most of when the killings were happening.
Yeah.
And there are exact times where he took the kids to go do stuff that line up exactly with like a couple other murders. Like puts him right there with them. And whenever there was a 4-year period where the Zodiac didn't send any letters or do anything,
yeah,
Arthur Lee Allen was in prison for those 4 years.
Yeah,
and
that's
the second he got out, I was like, it's kind of. I mean, like obviously they never like proved it definitively, but the second he went to prison, the letter stopped, and the same fucking month he got out of prison, the letter started again.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
and they can place him. They can place him at the beach where the 2 murders happened, and they can place him in the town where he was taking race car driving lessons for another 2 murders.
Oh yeah,
like they can place him there definitively, like obviously, and then he matches the description of the guy they stopped the night the Zodiac shot the dude, and then was walking down the street. He's the guy they stopped.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they didn't get his name, so you can't prove it, but the matches, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, the movie with Jake Gyllenhaal and Robert Downey Jr. and Mark Ruffalo, that movie's got a lot of people. That movie, one of the survivors of one of the shootings, the scene where he like at the very end, they like, hey, we just want you to look at these pictures to see if you recognize any of these guys, and he like points them out right away, and it had been 15 years or something since he had been shot. And I just thought that scene has always stuck with me, partly because it's one of the McBoyles, that guy that he always plays that fucking weird dude, is in that scene. But like just the way that how adamant he is about it, and like one of the ones that I think is like one of the killings of or attacks in the Zodiac's umbrella of crimes. The one where at the Lake Berryessa ones, where it's that couple, or a girl and a guy. I don't think they were actually a couple, but I think they were just hanging out at the beach, or not at the beach, but picnicking at the lake. And then he like makes her tie him up. And then stabs them both. Like, and then I think the guy survived. I can't remember.
The guy survived.
Yeah. Like, how shitty is the rest of your life going to be knowing you survived and she didn't, like that's just gotta eat at you, and like also you really can't do anything. Like you're literally tied face down, and you just get to hear her get stabbed and then you get stabbed, and it's like, it's such a helpless feeling, I imagine. It's so, it's wild, but yeah. Zodiac, did you watch the Anna Kendrick movie on Netflix? Is a new movie on Netflix that she directed and stars in, about the dating game killer.
No, I haven't seen that.
Rodney Alcala is his name. So do you know about this guy at all?
No, not at all.
So this guy, real dirtbag. He would like, super charismatic, real, like everybody thought he was fun to talk to, able to pick up women real easily, but then he would like take them out into the fucking desert and strangle them and rape them and kill them, and this guy would take pictures of, like, he would like pose their bodies for the police to find or somebody to find, and he would like take pictures because he's a photographer, so he'd take all these crazy pictures and stuff. Well, he ends up going on the dating game show, which was like a show in the 60s and 70s where, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's, a man or a woman and then like 3 men or a woman on the other side of like a wall. and they ask these questions anonymously.
Yeah.
And then, they pick somebody at the end. Well, this guy ends up being on the show and wins. He gets picked by the girl, but she ends up not wanting and not end up going with him or whatever. Which she made a smart move because he probably would have killed her.
Yeah.
But yeah, he gets arrested after this girl reports him. She ends up surviving an attack, reports him. He gets arrested, and they don't make any connections to any of the other murders. So he just keeps killing people, and then eventually gets caught.
Wow.
But yeah, it's a wild story, and there's Anna Kendrick. It's Woman of the Hour or something like that. It's on Netflix. It's like brand new, and it's pretty good. It's interesting though because it's not like most true crime movies or shows where they really go into why this person's a piece of shit and what made them the way they are. It really just focuses on his predatory aspects.
Yeah.
How he would fucking prey on women, how he would talk to them, and how he would kind of manipulate them in certain situations. And the movie does it in a way where it's you're more in their perspective than in his.
Yeah.
So and it's different, and I didn't notice this on my first watch through, but one of my friends, she pointed it out to me. She's like, yeah, this situation right here, this is so common. This is such an uncomfortable scene because it really I've been in that situation, or in situations like that where you feel nervous or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. And it's a movie, so they kind of twist and change some of the things, but
Yeah.
I mean it's good. So
Nice.
yeah.
All right. Well, the whole get up. If you made it this far, we appreciate you. Stop what you're doing. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment. Leave us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcast. Let us know what you think. If we're terrible, if we're not terrible, let us know.
Yeah.
If you want to be more than that, you could look into being a subscriber on our Patreon.
Yeah.
At the beginning, you heard all those beautiful people's voices. You heard all their voices. You heard all their names. If you want to join them, head on down to you can go to our Linktree, which is linktree/walkpod, WOKPOD. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. This week's Am I the Asshole? I feel like this is going to be good for both of us.
I'm excited.
Am I the asshole for telling my mom she's an unwanted guest?
Oh, fuck. All right.
My wife has had a stressful time at work and was looking forward to a vacation at her grandparents' cabin. She brought a few books she wanted to read, and I brought my fishing rod. She had no plans to entertain. My dad stopped by to go fishing. It was supposed to just be my dad stopping by for the day, but somehow my mom inserted herself, and I was shocked to see her. My wife had no plans to entertain her. All right. I told my mom that. My mom bought stuff for lunch and dinner and tried to engage my wife into making dinner for us all, and my wife said no. She's relaxing and reading. If my mom wanted to cook, then that's my mom's prerogative. My dad and I get back late, and at the table, my mom started to complain about how she did all this stuff herself. I looked at my wife, who just took her plate and ate in her room. My mom started to complain to me about it, and I told my mom she technically wasn't invited, and my wife had no expectations to entertain her in my wife's cabin while my wife is on vacation.
Right.
My mom started saying, well, she wouldn't have came if she knew that. I told my mom, next time, take the hint. Damn. If you aren't invited, don't come. My parents left after dinner. My mom complained that my wife should have tried to be a gracious hostess, and I said maybe my mom should try not being an unwanted guest. Am I the asshole?
Yeah.
So
I feel like there's not enough info here.
100% there's not. No, there's not.
Why was the dad invited? What's the fucking going on here? I don't understand it.
Yeah, because here's my thing. Yes, whenever you just have a girlfriend, it is not always understood that your girlfriend is coming.
Yeah.
But once you're married, if you invite somebody, it is assumed, 100% assumed you're bringing your wife, or if the wife got invited, it's assumed you're bringing your husband, because like
Right.
you guys are together, you do things together, like it's assumed.
Right.
So if you invited your dad to go fishing and you didn't say, "Hey, don't bring mom,"
Yeah.
like
Unless that, like, well, they said she wasn't invited, so did they expressly say that?
I don't. Yeah.
But he says she needs to take the hint, so it sounds like probably not. I don't know. I would need more information, but I would
Yeah.
like, obviously, if it's, hey, Dad, you can come out, and like Mom doesn't need to come with you, kind of thing, then no, you're not an asshole. But yeah, there's just not that much information about it.
Yeah, I don't think there's enough information.
Did they add any in the comments or anything? Sometimes they do like the added info.
Let's
but-
see. I don't. So this is from somebody. Congrats to your wife for actually prioritizing her wants and not succumbing to the pressure to entertain and host. Then the OP responded, "My mom thinks reading is boring, so she thought she was doing my wife a favor. My mom has never got it through her head that some people read for fun." I don't.
Again, not this person's terrible at the internet.
Yeah.
Man, I was not expecting this to go that way, but you know, it's fine. Dude, I definitely, I mean, personally, Mom not invited, I don't think you're an asshole, but that's from somebody who's
So
uninvited my mom from pretty much everything for the last 4 years. So it's
Yeah, so I really think he should have spent a little bit more time describing his mom's personality, because I think that would have helped.
yeah.
Because I love my mom to death, but she can be a lot in social settings, and so knowing how she is, I would.
She's a
not
lot
invite her to certain
on
things.
social network settings.
She's a lot on social network settings. Sometimes she listens to the show. I love you, Mom. Just saying.
Yeah.
Sometimes I love you.
Dude, my mom showed up at my apartment one time, and like we had been fighting
Yeah.
around that time, and me and my roommates, we had a bunch of Molly on the counter that we were about to have a real good night. And this lady just shows up, knocks on the door, and I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I'm like, what's up? And she just kind of walks in and is like, how do you know that we're trying to have fun in here? Like, why are you, like, what are you doing again? And I literally was like, I'm pretty sure I said you weren't invited, and I told her to leave like multiple times, but she was also, you know, pretty hammered, which is why she just showed up. But it was just so funny because we're all like, we've been like hyping this up all day. You know, we were like planned. Like I bought a couple gallons of water on my way home and some gum, and like we like had this all planned out, and we're getting ready, and then there's a fucking knock at the door, and we're like, oh shit, who is it? And it's my mom, and she's like being all, I don't even know, like passive almost in a way, but, and like me growing up in that house with her, I was like, does she know what we're doing right now? There's no way she could, but like it felt like it just because of like, you know, my trauma response was like, she's on to us, man. Like I'm in trouble. Like this. And so I just was like, you're not invited. You have to leave. I don't want you here. Like, just fucking forced her out.
No way.
Yeah. It's pretty exciting. Anyway, that's my story about Mom being uninvited.
Yeah. I'm gonna say with what we know here, I'm gonna say he's an asshole.
Yeah. I think he's an asshole for not giving us enough information. I'll say that. Does that count? You're an asshole, but not for the reason you think.
I mean, I do, because he didn't say that she was told not to come.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Without that, like, explicit detail,
yeah.
it does make him an asshole. Like, if
know, and he
you
could've told her
qualify
in
that and go, hey, we told her not to come and she still showed up. But the way he says, she couldn't take the hint means that they probably were like beating around the bush about it.
Well, I think what he's talking about is whenever
When
you know,
she was
she was
already
like-
there.
she was already there and she's like, I bought all the stuff. You're gonna make food. My wife goes, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I think her being abrasive was like her hint. Maybe
Yeah.
he thought.
Okay. Well, then that makes sense. But still, like, he doesn't explicitly say told her not to come. So it's like,
because he could have said in a nice way, hey, Dad's coming to fish. If you're not gonna fish, I wouldn't come.
yeah, because there's not going to be anything for you to do.
Yeah.
I don't know. Fuck this guy, basically.
Oh man. We'd like to thank our friends, the Real Creature Feature, Brent and Jessica over at the Macabre Emporium, the Society of Cryptid Hunters. What was it? What's those guys? The two Toms.
Oh, the two Kevins at Dark Windows podcast.
Yeah, the two Toms at Dark Windows podcast.
The two Toms. Old double T, dude. Old Tom and Tom.
And then of course the Remedial Scholar.
Yeah. All right. That's it. I've had enough. Peace out, bitches.
Tip your bartender.